President Cyril Ramaphosa to go back to flood-ravaged areas in Durban. He's written an open letter to the President challenging him to show that he isn't a politician who'll simply arrive at the scene of suffering for cheap publicity. It follows the floods that ravaged parts of Durban, leaving a trail of destruction and killing more than 80 people. Well, Desai joins me live from Oosterville in the south of Durban. Desmond, good evening and thanks for your time tonight. The letter that you've written to the President really raises a number of issues. Let's begin first with the task of rebuilding the city of Durban and where exactly you feel the challenges have been post the floods.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Firstly, good evening to the listeners. The challenges are really huge. We've had numerous floods in South Africa and in Durban in particular. So this is not the first instance of where floods have occurred and people have lost their homes, only to find that government parachutes in and then they don't go back. And people are left at their own devices. So the floods had caused the death of 70 people and quite a number of them lost their homes, including informal settlements. It is critical that government deals with it and doesn't just come before the elections and doesn't come back. So the appeal is to remind President Cyril Ramaphosa that what he had stated before the elections, it's an urgent matter and people are waiting for him to come back as soon as possible so that he can action those programs to get people to get homes, to rebuild people's lives.
And of course, you've also raised other issues around...
That cannot wait.
Absolutely. You've also raised other issues around the environmental impact of some of the work that's taking place in the coast, and whether it's the oil refineries that are down there or the search. This is the explorations that are taking place and the impact that they have on the environment within the South Coast. Tell us exactly where your concerns lie, where that is.
We know that they are living, and the interview is taking place about 2 minutes away from the oil refineries, and we can smell it where we are. Very strong chemical smell of benzene and toluene and xylene right now. But what's critical is that the government, about 4 years ago, has allowed the International Oil Corporation, who have a bad history in Nigeria, in Angola, even in the US, where they have had huge spills and lots of people have died, and to come and explore on our beautiful ocean and our beautiful beaches. And if we know that that oil and gas exploration is directly linked to the climate change people are experiencing, not only in Durban, but all over the country, but all over the world, where 90% of scientists have stated that oil and gas, we should keep the oil and not explore for the oil and turn and move away from oil and gas and rather move to much more cleaner energy that's out there, that's been used, that won't impact on the environment, but more importantly, people's lives will not be affected. And we've seen that with the huge floods in Durban that resulted in 70 people's lives, but also in Mozambique and Malawi and Zimbabwe, where over 500 people lost their lives. So we're at a critical stage of our lives, and we are saying to President Cyril Ramaphosa, let us work together as a society. Let us work together so that we can bring the best initiatives, we can bring the best solutions to the problems and make sure that everybody benefits, everybody is gainfully employed, but more importantly, poverty is decreased.
And one of the things
because the major big infrastructure projects, Kathy,
sorry to interrupt you there. You seem to not have much confidence in the kind of interventions that can come through, especially from a local perspective, through the city of eThekwini in particular. You seem to have lost complete confidence in the work that officials there are doing.
Well, the last few years, since the last election in 2016, we know that the city has been paralyzed We know that the different factions in our city have not resulted in development and improvement. We're also aware that on account of all that, there's been a lot of where community groups have stood up and have brought their issues to the city and the province. No delivery, no service delivery has happened, resulting in the infrastructure of sanitation, of water collapsing in the city in the past few months. We know that the recycling initiatives have collapsed completely because the orange bags that people pay for to recycle their waste has not been delivered to every home in Durban. So we do have a problem, and we have tried relentlessly, and I think everybody else has tried. We know the Auditor General has tried to do an audit of the city, and they've had to give that up because they weren't allowed to interview any official on account of the paralyzing of government in the city. So hence our call to the President to get a national inquiry.
All right. I think we'll have to leave it there, and we'll apologize for the delay in that line to Desmond. Of course, one of the things that they are also calling for is for Zandile Gumede to be removed as the mayor of eThekwini, while